The Quality Migrant Admission Scheme was introduced in 2006 with the intention to create a visa class for those highly talented people who might be willing to take up residence in Hong Kong without actually having any core reason for coming here in the first place. Flexible as ever, the Immigration Department developed the Quality Migrant Admission Scheme in order to provide a mechanism to be able to compete with other developed economies immigration programs which have been established on the basis that it can only be good if you allow smart people to live in your community. As of December 2010, more than 5,000 applications had been received and only 1,800 applications had been approved. Successful applicants under the general points test were 1,670. These tended to come from the backgrounds in financial and accounting services, information technology, telecommunications and general commerce. Successful applicants under the what we call a home run achievement-based points test, of which there were 136, these came mainly from the sports, arts and culture segments. The Immigration Department received on average more than 100 Quality Migrant Admission Scheme applications every single month.
The Quality Migrants Admission Scheme was the first of its kind, introduced in 2006, which actually allowed for people to come to Hong Kong without a specific rationale for being in Hong Kong. That is, prior to the introduction of the Quality Migrants Admission Scheme, if you needed to take up employment, you had to apply for an employment visa. If you wanted to join family members, you applied for a dependent visa. If you wanted to join in a business, you applied for an investment visa. But with the Quality Migrants Admission Scheme, for the first time we had a pro forma visa type, where on the basis that you had personal qualities which were deemed to be attractive to the HKSAR, then the Immigration Department will grant you approval to remain here. However, the program comes with a very high level barrier to entry, and that is that you have to be a top-notch talent, and the program seeks extremely qualified applicants from a variety of different segments. The overall intention of the program is to boost Hong Kong, and by this it is meant that the intention is to create jobs and promote investment. Whilst there is a cap on the number of visas that can be issued under this program, that cap is reviewed on a regular basis, but whilst it has not yet been reached per se, the fact that there is a quota does impact on who's selected, because the selection committee are always looking to see that there is space available within the current quota set to accommodate future applicants who have not yet presented their cases but who would be deemed top-notch under the current approvability criteria. All talents are welcome. There are only 8 restricted nationalities. These are people from Afghanistan, Albania, Cambodia, Cuba, Laos, North Korea, Nepal and Vietnam. And whilst the program is open to all comers effectively, there are 3 hurdles to jump, and the application process is not particularly straightforward. Somewhat unusually for the Immigration Department, they have put out a very comprehensive, excellent book detailing how the Quality Migrant Admission Scheme program is administered. But by way of a review of the essential elements of the program, let's take a look at what is required from 39,000 feet, so to speak. There is a 3-tier approvals process. There are must-meet criteria, then the application of either the general points test or the achievements-based points test, and once you are satisfying the number of points required, you put into the selection pool for consideration by the formal selection committee. Interestingly, once you're approved, the nature of the visa consent basically means that you can engage in any lawful activity. There's no specific purpose for residency needed post-approval. The mere fact of your presence will suffice for the purposes of the approval that you're granted. You're given 1 year initially, and in that time you are given the opportunity to, quote, take steps towards settlement, and at the next extension point 1 year hence you need to show that you have joined in some sort of business or taken up some sort of employment, or if you've been admitted on the achievements-based test, that you have the necessary finance available such that you can be resident without being a drain on public resources. And once your extension is approved, you will be granted a 3-year period of stay. If you are qualifying under this programme, your unmarried children and legal spouse dependents are eligible for dependent visas in tandem with yours. And after 7 years, you're entitled to make an application for the right of abode on the basis that you've taken Hong Kong as your only place of permanent residence and that you've been continuously and ordinarily resident in the HKID all throughout that time. The must meet criteria involve you being between the age of 18 and 50. You must be able to show that you have the financial means to live in Hong Kong for at least 12 months without being supported. They're looking at your character. You must be free of criminal record or any adverse immigration history, not only in Hong Kong but in any jurisdiction. You must speak either English, Chinese or Mandarin, you have to have a first degree as a minimum, or if you don't have a first degree as a minimum, good technical qualifications, or in fact, if neither education or technical qualifications, you must have professional abilities, experience or achievement. So the must meet criteria get you into the game. You then have to go on and satisfy the points test. For most applicants under the QMAS programme, they will be subjected to the general points test. And this is basically a tally up of the various factors that are at play in your life that will allow you to accumulate a number of points as defined under the programme. So the points are granted generally for academic or professional qualifications, a close look at any achievement that you have in any particular field, and also an analysis of your working experience. There is a look to the immediate family connections you've got in Hong Kong, just exactly how your spouse stacks up in terms of her educational attainment, and how many dependent children that you have, in addition to the languages that you speak. And a variety of different points are provided under these general heads, and on the basis that you have a minimum of 80, then you are able to be put forward through to the selection pool segment of the process. But 80 is the bare minimum. If you are a special talent that have accomplished major things in a particular field, such for example you've won an international prize, you've represented your countries in the Olympics, you have certain prowess or you have achieved recognition in your particular field, then you can apply under the achievements-based points test. This is where the Immigration Department grants you 165 maximum points for what you have accomplished, and this is the kind of a home run effect. The thing about the home run effect is that when they apply the test to your circumstances and your particular achievements, it is a one-time only test. It must pass or it must fail. If it passes, you go into the selection committee and you stand a very high chance of being approved by the selection committee. If you fail, your application fails at that point and there's no opportunity to progress forward. But on the basis that you do progress forward, you've satisfied the must meet criteria and you've scored sufficient points, you are entered into the approved pool and then ranked by points total. As stated, the minimum pass mark is 80 points, but under the achievement-based tests, Nobel Prize winners and Olympic medalists, as I've said, get 165 maximum points. And once you have been selected by the selection committee and your approval has been granted, you're expected to take up employment or join in a business or show, if you're an achievements-based test QMAS visa holder, that you have the financial means to remain in Hong Kong. So the program is designed for particular talents. It is designed to allow you to accumulate points. It allows you to demonstrate after you've been approved that you've settled in Hong Kong. And once all of this has been achieved, you're effectively on your way with your 3-year period of stay to the right of abode subsequently.
The next step is for you to review the visa information document. This document details each of the essential elements of a successfully argued Hong Kong visa case and contains in-context links to all of the resources needed to prepare your application. These include application templates, the online application forms, screencasts on how to complete the forms, a checklist of all the documents you need to prepare as part of the submission bundle, a crib sheet on how to submit your application, and audio discussions of some of the finer points of official policy and procedures and specific case examples from the past which will serve to help you by way of illustration. Let's go to the visa information document now.